Hello everyone, welcome to Rubber Industry NewsHour. This is a weekly news program for the rubber industries, and we are in episode number 6. As you know, this is every Monday program. Same time starts at 7 p.m. Indian time, 9:30 p.m. Singapore, 8:30 a.m. EST, and Europe time is 2:30 Central Europe time. So this is by TechnoBiz. I welcome you all. Just give you some basic information about what is this rubber industry news hour, what kind of content is included in this news hour. We have news headlines, research, education, tips and tricks, regulations, market review, business talk, tech talk, other talk, opportunities, business profile, and buyer guide. We may not have everything in every episode. Some components are included in separate each episode, so we don't cover everything in one episode. Each episode has a few highlights of this content. Okay. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to my partners. Okay, one is the Rubber World magazine, which is actually supporting this program. As you know, Rubber World is well established, 130 plus years old magazine. If you are not a magazine subscriber yet, I do suggest to subscribe to Rubber World, rubberworld.com. You can subscribe free in the digital edition. We also have a Rubber and Tire Digest. It's a bi-monthly magazine. Rubber World is a monthly magazine. Rubber and Tire Digest is a bi-monthly magazine. This is also a product of Rubber World and TechnoBiz. And you can visit our website, rubbertiredigest.com, for the subscribing free copy of the magazine. Both has a good technical content. We're thankful to the Rubber Industry Network, Rubber Technologies Global Network, and also TechnoBiz channel for supporting and part of this program. For the benefit of all the audience, let me introduce about TechnoBiz. This program, Rubber Industry News, is owned and managed by TechnoBiz, and for the benefit of everyone to understand what kind of services we offer for the rubber industry, let me screen you the video. Okay, that's about the TechnoBiz. I'm hoping that you find it useful and to understand about the what kind of services we are offering for the rubber industry. You can always check our website technobiz.org for more information on it. Okay, just today's we'll get to today's program, episode number 6. We are on the 21st February, Rubber Industry NewsHour. First, I'll give you the main highlights. We have under the rubber market review, we have Mr. John Jacob. He's a rubber industry analyst with a huge experience, a well-known rubber industry specialist, and particularly in the natural rubber markets. He'll be giving on the review on the natural rubber market review as part of the program today. And we have Mr. Nitish Kumar Shukla, who's the director of the Indian Tire Technical Advisory Committee, ITAC. He'll be giving a presentation on the research trends, recent trends in regulations and standards for the tire industry. This is under the theme of the rubber industry regulations and standards. We have other highlight is a rubber industry business talk. In this business talk, we are focusing on the Bangladesh rubber and tire industry. We have a guest, Mr. Miraj Rahman, who is managing director of the Rupshaw Tires and Chemicals Limited, who is from the Bangladesh. These are the main highlights of the today's program. So let's get to the program. First is we're talking about the rubber industry regulations and standards. This is a part of the rubber industry NewsHour. In this session, as I mentioned to you, we have Mr. Nitish Kumar Shukla, who is the director of Indian Tire Technical Advisory Committee. He'll be talking about recent trends in regulations and standards for the tire industry. Let me brief you about ITAC. ITAC is the technical arm of the Automotive Tire Manufacturers Association. It's called the ATMA. They provide it's an Indian premier organization involved in the 4 vital areas of the technology, environment, safety, and standards. About Mr. Nitish, he has completed MSc in chemistry from Delhi University, MTech in rubber technology from IIT Kharagpur, and currently pursuing also PhD from the Wells University in Chennai. He has more than 11 years experience. His work experience journey started at IRMRA, one of the well-known research organization in India, in the year 2009, where he worked in various departments under different capacities. He was also working as a director, deputy director, and head of the Southern Center of the IRMRA until he joined as a director of ITAC. During the working at the IRMRA, he handled the different government-sponsored R&D and defect investigation projects. He would actually provide significant contribution at IRMRA Center of Excellence for Tire Research, Testing, and Certification. He is also lead auditor of the ISO 9001 and also technical assessor of the NABL. So we have Mr. Nitish Kumar Shukla. I invite him for this session. So Mr. Nitish, please come forward and make a presentation on the today's topic of recent trends, regulations, and standards for tire industry. Let me share.
Mr. Peram, I hope my screen is visible.
It is. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Peram, for this given opportunity. So on the behalf of ITTAC, I express my sincere thanks to TechnoBiz, especially Mr. Peram Prasad Rao, to speak on the recent trends in regulation and standard for the tire industry. So very good evening from India, ladies and gentlemen, for this particular talk. As Mr. Peram briefly said about the ITTAC being a technical wing of tire industry, Automotive Tire Manufacturers Association, ATMA, ITTAC has been serving on the technical front on behalf of Indian tire industry in the formulation of different standard and regulation activities, bridging the gap between the government and the industry, also getting collaborated with the international agencies like ETRTO, JATMA, GSO, FMVSS on different regulation and testing activities. For today's session, the key topics selected are I'll be talking on the global scenario on tire performance regulation, then take you to the Indian scenario on standards for OEM tires, tire labeling program for replacement tires, and how these regulations are going to impact the tire industry, mainly on the two front, the role of the tire materials, and to meet those regulatory requirements, what are the challenges Indian tire industry sees. And more importantly, of course, I will be also giving some light on that circular economy, green mobility. Recently, one important notification on the extended producer responsibility for waste tire has been notified by Ministry of Environment, Forest and the Climate Change, Government of India. I'll be giving you the brief on that as well. As we all know and see that the key global issues and the challenges and how the legislation and the regulation acts as a bridge between the sustainability and the environmental challenges. Needless to say, tire being one of the important component of a vehicle and few regulations which are pertaining to the vehicles, but tire being one of the component of the vehicle, they are directly or indirectly falls under those legislative requirement. Global scenario on the tire performance regulation. We know that Europe almost 10 years back under the regulation 1222/2009 covering the rolling resistance, wet grip and the tire noise properties under the three different segments of the tire: passenger car, light and the heavy commercial vehicles. Europe was the first country, or rather I would say the continent, which implemented the labeling requirement. Tires are graded on the basis of these properties: rolling resistance, wet grip and the pass by noise. The stage 1 was implemented way back in November 2012, having the different limits for the rolling resistance, wet grip and the pass by noise. Stage 2 was implemented in year 2016, having the more stringent conditions for all these three properties. If you see the label design changes which has been proposed by the EC from 2012 to 2022, in the left side is the label design proposed in 2012, was the first phase of the labeling was implemented or introduced. In the second phase, the EC regulation has come up with some additional information once this label are marked on the tread portion of the tire. So the additional marking has been introduced are the QR code, if you see at your extreme right. Then the product ID has come, and two additional properties, as we know that the tire industry, they have started producing the snow tire as well. So the snow grip and the ice grip index are also the part of the new label design proposed by the EC under the European regulation EC 1222/2009, and it has come into force from May 1, 2021. Similar to Europe, Japan has also introduced this tire labeling requirement, mainly talking the two properties, rolling resistance and the wet grip. Of course, unlike Europe, where we have the mandatory evaluation for the tires for those three properties, rolling resistance, wet grip, and the pass by noise, Japan only talks about the two properties, RR and wet grip, and its implementation is also not mandatory. It is under the voluntary state. The Japan is only focused on the summer passenger car tires, which are purchased as the replacement of tire. And if you see this level design, not like Europe, they have the grading like AAA, AA, or single A for the rolling resistance properties, and the for wet grip, they have the label design like a small letter A to B, C, or D. Of course, once we talk or we say AAA means the fuel efficient tire, improved the rolling resistance coefficient value, and wet grip, if we say A, it is means the best properties on the wet grip front. Now I'm quickly taking you to the Indian scenario on the standards and regulation for the OE tires. Just a quick pre-background. Government of India thought, referring the same EC regulation 1222/2009, that the need was created that Indian regulatory agency also need to work out, need to formulate a standard, and accordingly we have one body in our country, that is Automotive Industry Standards Committee, AISC, under ARAI, Automotive Research Association of India. So AISC tire panel was formulated, and there, of course, Atma ITAC has played one of the key stakeholders in the formulation of that standard AIS 142 that talks about these three properties, RR, wet grip, and the pass by noise for the three category of the tire, C1, C2, and C3. Almost 6 rounds of the discussion and deliberations where Atma ITAC had presented rolling resistance data of around 700 numbers of the tire to formulate a standard considering the India specific limits. And then the AIS 142 was formulated for rolling resistance values. This standard is now under the publication, that is AIS 142/2019. This standard has been formulated of referring the latest, the revision number 4 of EC R117. The difference in EC R117 and AIS 142 is that the rolling resistance limit, what is presented in AIS 142, is based on the data presented by the Atma ITAC. Of course, for the wet grip and the pass by noise, once this standard was getting formulated in India, we had no test infrastructure. So because of that, Atma ITAC could not present the data, and AISC tire panel, they considered the pass by noise and the wet grip limit as per EC R117. So if you come across with this standard AIS 142, please keep in your mind that the RR limits are as per the data presented by the Atma ITAC on the basis of analysis of around 7 to 800 numbers of the tire. Once this standard was formulated and adopted by the CMVR MORTH, then the draft gazette notification was issued by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways on 17th May 2021. This draft notification was issued seeking the comment, objections, suggestions from the different stakeholders, and the proposed timeline in the draft notification was 1st October 2021 for new designs of tire and 1st October 2022 for existing designs of tire. The Gazette draft notification issued by MORTH directly covers the stage 2 limits in AIS 142. This AIS 142 is applicable for all the three segments of the tire: passenger car, light commercial, and the commercial vehicles, C1, C2, and C3 category of tires. So each and every segment of the tires under these three categories have to mandatory evaluated and tested for the three properties: rolling resistance, wet grip, and the pass by noise. Post the submission of the comments, suggestions, objection on this Gazette notification issued by MORTH, department is working on the revised timeline. ITAC referring the test infrastructure in the country and the data, we had suggested a timeline, workable timeline for the sake of the tire industry. After this notification, parallelly referring EC R117, we in India there is another department under Ministry of Power, that is Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and PCRA, Petroleum Conservation Research Organization under Ministry of Petrochemical. A committee was formulated to formulate a standard and labeling program. As we all know that in our country, two electrical appliances, air conditioner and the refrigerator, we have the labeling program for these two electrical appliances introduced by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. In the similar manner, Bureau of Indian BE along with PCRA, they decided to formulate a standard and labeling program for the tires, and one committee where the stakeholders from the different part of the country like Atma, ITAC, test agencies, one standard labeling program was formulated. Based on the 2-year working on the standard labeling program, just 1.5 months back, Bureau of Energy Efficiency has launched the star rating program on the tires. So now each and every tire has to be, like Europe, the tire has to be leveled. The key objective was let the end users come to know and decide the best fuel efficient tire. To make them aware, this energy efficiency program or the star rating program on the tires was launched. In the launch program, the voluntary period has been kept for the 1 year, and these tires are to be rated for the fuel economy on the basis of the rolling resistance coefficient value is specified in AIS 142. So Bureau of Energy Efficiency is going to refer the limits for the rolling resistance given in AIS 142, the standard which has been formulated and cleared by the CMVR, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, MORTH. The tires Meeting the rolling resistance requirement had to also comply the minimum wet grip limits of as specified in AIS 142 standard. The standard and labeling program or the star rating programs introduced by BE is applicable for the three segment of tire, passenger car, light commercial and the commercial vehicle. And this program is mainly dealt with the replacement market, not for OE. So AIS 142 introduced by MORTH that deals the mandatory evaluation for OE tires for the three properties rolling resistance, pass by noise and the wet grip, while star rating program launched by Bureau of Energy Efficiency talks about two parameters. One is rolling resistance, which is directly related with the fuel economy, and the tire has to meet or comply with the minimum wet grip limits, and it is applicable for the replacement market. For this standard and labeling program, as I quoted, Atma ITTAC has worked very closely with these two regulatory agencies in our country, BE and PCRA, for this standard and labeling program. To keep the wet grip, minimum requirement was to ensure that the safety is not compromised, as we know that there is a relation between the rolling resistance and the wet grip of the tire. So without compromising on the safety, the tire need to be graded for their fuel efficiency. This is the proposed tire label design by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Some of my uh, the delegates who are present from India, they must be aware about this kind of the level design. They must have seen on their air condition and the refrigerator. So same level design has been proposed by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and these are the key aspect which need to be present on that level design. Starting with, you could see the tire size designation, then the rated value of the rolling resistance coefficient has to come. The level design, they have proposed the validity is for 1 year. The tire brand name has to come, tire serial number, and then basis of your rated values, which self or by getting the test done with a certified test agencies need to be submitted to BE, and then the grading will be given by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Of course, the naming and shaming is also involved by this introduced program by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. After the change of your level design, if the tire does not meet the specified value by the tire manufacturers, a huge penalty is likely to be imposed by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency once the sample is drawn from market and sent for the testing to any government recognized lab. The key challenges what we in Atma ITTAC have seen and felt on the star rating program. First is the data generation for the wet grip and the pass by noise test, considering the Indian conditions in the mine. Consistency and the correlation of the test result. As in Europe, for the labeling program, they have the lab alignment. Similar kind of the program we are also working out in our country to have a mother lab
You guys, please stand by. Please stand by. Okay, we have issues with the connections with Mr. Nitish. Maybe he'll come back again. In the meantime, let's continue with the, let me take over the screen. We will continue his presentation later on. Okay, there is some interruptions with this internet connection now. Okay, Nitish, you are there? It looks so, not yet. Okay, in the meantime, let me introduce about the business profile session, rubber industry business profile. In this session, we have a company to introduce to all of you. It's a company called Wholewell Components. They are one-stop solution for all elastomeric needs. Let's watch the video on this company. If you're interested in any of their services, you can reach out to them. Okay, that's the presentation on the whole well components as a part of the rubber industry business profile. As I mentioned, this company offers a one-stop solution for all elastomeric needs. Let's look at the rubber industry buyer guide. This is basically compiled short version of user's guide. Uh, this is basically the a source guide for the rubber industries, and if you're looking for machines or if you look for chemicals, so we have some companies are participating in this rubber industry buyer guide. Let me show you this buyer guide presentation. I do encourage all of you to remember these, brand names, what kind of services they offer. You can always reach out to them. That's the presentation on the buyer guide. I do request all of you, if you're anybody interested in any of these company services, please be in touch with them. I've been in touch with Mr. Nitish. He'll be online soon. Okay, but by the time he connects, he will continue the remaining presentation. Let's move to the next part of this today's rubber industry news hour. This is rubber industry market review. In this session, as you know, we were focusing on the natural rubber market review. We have Mr. Jom Jacob, a well-experienced and internationally recognized rubber industry analyst. He will be discussing about the natural rubber market review. Jom, sir, over to you.
Hi all, welcome to Natural Rubber Market Review. So let us start with the observations we made in the last Monday's market review. So our specific observations or expectations we shared last Monday were: number one, possibility of rubber futures to be weighed down by external factors, external in the sense factors which are not directly related to supply or demand for natural rubber. These factors external to the rubber sector going to weigh down rubber futures. That was one of the observations we made regarding the markets during the last week. We expected that speculative traders would be extremely cautious in view of the risk and uncertainty arising from the escalating Russia-Ukraine conflict. Another factor causing uncertainty in speculative trading is a potential further move by the US Federal Reserve. So we expected some kind of a downward force on rubber futures. That was one of the expectations. And number two, we expected physical market receiving strong support from seasonal low supply, strong support in the physical markets. And also we expected China's presence in the physical markets as trading and manufacturing activities resumed in China after the long holiday for the Spring Festival. That means we specifically mentioned the possibility of futures and physical markets exhibiting divergent trends. That means we expected that physical market would be getting strong support from favorable supply demand fundamental, and on the other side, futures market likely to be weighed down by risk and uncertainties, largely arising from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So these were the expectations we made, and as we mentioned earlier, so we are going to review what happened with reference to what we have expected last week. Let us see how the market performed last week. Let us start with the physical market. Physical markets, around 70% of the world trade in natural rubber is in the form of TSR, technically specified rubber. And we have two important markets for TSR. One is Bangkok, FOB Bangkok STR20, and the other market is SMR20 Kuala Lumpur FOB. So Bangkok STR20 physical market averaged 2.4% higher during last week compared to a week before, 2.4% higher. But Kuala Lumpur SMR20 market averaged 0.5% lower. So means last week there was a divergence between the STR20 Bangkok and Kuala Lumpur SMR20. So we will see later on what is the cause of behind this one. Then coming to latex, latex constitutes around 15% of the world trade in natural rubber. Latex, we have two important market, physical market. One is Bangkok and the other is Kuala Lumpur. Latex price in Bangkok averaged 6.9% higher during last week compared to a week before. But Kuala Lumpur market also, Kuala Lumpur market averaged 5.7% higher last week compared to a week before. Coming to RSS, that is another form in which natural rubber is traded. We have two important markets. One is Bangkok RSS3 FOB. Bangkok RSS3 FOB averaged 3.9% higher compared to a week before. But Kottayam markets, RSS4 Kottayam in India, average 2.9% lower. So in Kottayam, actually, there are specific domestic factors influencing the price of RSS4, domestic RSS price in India. So most important observation regarding the Indian market, RSS market in India last week was the nearly total absence, or I would like to say a relatively maybe less active presence of tire companies in the physical markets, because tire companies are right now, they are more focused on the company's financial performance during the last quarter of the fiscal, I mean January to March quarter. So companies are more focused on the financial performance of each company and also equity prices. So for that, they have to squeeze the inventory cost. So that is a reason why the companies are staying away from the market, so that this can continue until they maybe tech companies can continue less active until end of March. And but at the same time, we have to expect aggressive buying by Indian tech companies after March. So this is something very peculiar situation in the India scenario. And the off season also has started, especially the southern part of Kerala. Kerala state is accounting 70% of the production of natural rubber in the country. And in Kerala, southern state, the off season has started, but at the northern part of the same state, production is still continuing. So the off season will be starting very soon. So this is the overall picture of the physical market. Coming to futures markets. So what was our expectation? Futures market will be weighed down because of the risk and uncertainties that will be discouraging investors. That was our observation. Against that observation, what happened? Let us see. Shanghai futures markets averaged 2.2% lower last week compared to a week before. Cyclone TSR20, I mean the May contracts average 0.4% lower. Osaka, but at the same time, Osaka RSS3 contract for expiring July average 2.2% higher. So we have different trend in the Shanghai markets is 2.2% lower. Cyclone TSR20 is lower, but it's only 0.4% lower. But at the same time, Osaka RSS3 average 2.2% higher. So that means we have some divergent trend in across the three futures. So we have 4 charts here to compare the price movement in the three futures. Let us see the 4 charts right now. Let us see the 4 charts. So we have chart number 1. This chart shows the Shanghai futures market that is shown in the blue line. And we also have the STR20, but the physical markets, STR20 Bangkok. So we can see that actually the two are divergent. So that means STR20 markets continued the uptrends regardless of what is happening in the Shanghai futures market. But Shanghai futures markets, it's fell regardless of the favorable condition prevailing in the physical market. That means Shanghai market was actually weighed down by the risk and uncertainties largely arising from the Russia-Ukraine conflicts, and Shanghai market did not respond to the favorable conditions prevailing in the physical market. This is one important observation. So we will see the second slide, another slide. This is a Shanghai futures market in comparison with the SMR20, that is physical markets of SMR20 in Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur SMR20, one peculiarity is that Kuala Lumpur SMR market is a little bit more sensitive to the Shanghai markets. When the Shanghai market comes down, there is a tendency it's a greater tendency in the Kuala Lumpur market to come down. So this is something very peculiar in the case of Kuala Lumpur market. Kuala Lumpur is the sensitivity of the physical market to developments in Shanghai is higher compared to the physical market in Bangkok. This is something different. So we have a third slide, a third chart, number 3. This is a Osaka RSS3 futures. So we can see that the Osaka RSS3 futures were moving almost in tandem with the physical price of RSS3 in Bangkok. Here we have to observe that the sensitivity of the Osaka futures or influence of the physical futures or physical market on the Osaka futures is very strong, very strong. This is something different. This is very important. So this means we can see that Osaka RSS3 futures moved almost in tandem with the physical price of RSS3. This is very important. That means the futures market Osaka is almost closely reflecting the developments going on in the physical market. This is something very important. We have one more slide here. Okay, this is SICOM TSR20, that is futures price SICOM TSR20 versus physical price of STR20 at Bangkok. Here also we can observe that the prices are not closely moving together, but at the same time the favorable condition prevailed. Actually, SICOM is reflecting the favorable condition prevailing in the physical market, although it is not perfectly, but it is somewhat. So what we can observe when we go through the fourth chart is that the Shanghai market is actually there's a greater role of speculation, or whatever happened in the geopolitics is reflected more in the Shanghai markets, and favorable conditions prevailed in the physical market were not reflected in the Shanghai market. At the same time, the other two futures market, that is Osaka as well as SICOM, they reflected the favorable conditions prevailed in the physical market. This is very important. Now we will continue. So this is observations regarding the futures market, as well as the relationship between futures and physical. So now let us see what lies ahead. So specifically during the week ahead. So during this week, what we can expect? We can expect tight supply to continue due to seasonal factor. So tightness in the supply will be felt in a little bit higher level because larger number of farmers have stopped tapping. That means tightness in the market will be felt more seriously during the coming weeks. That is a favorable condition, especially to the physical market. The demand is improving. That's another positive factor because several countries are reopening the international borders. That means the transport sector is getting a new, what is called a positive impact coming in the transport sector. At the same time, we have to notice that China's auto sales increased 0.9% in January. 0.9% is a small number, but important thing is that it's a positive number because past 9 months, continuously consecutive 9 months, in the 9 consecutive months, China's auto sales were posting negative growth. The first time after 8 months, China's auto sales posted positive growth. So this is something very a good news for the China's natural rubber demand, because auto sector is coming back. It's a good indication. And physical market, though, that means we have a seasonal shortage of supply. At the same time, demand is improving not only from China, other countries as well, because international borders are opening up gradually in different countries. So this will be reflected in the transport sector. This will be reflected in the demand for tire. So this is that means the supply is coming down and demand is improving. That means the physical market are expected to gain further in the coming week. It's a good thing. Physical market are expected to gain further. But as mentioned last week, we are expecting futures markets not reflecting the favorable conditions prevailing in the physical markets, because futures market will likely to be weighed down by the negative sentiment arising from the further developments in the Russia-Ukraine geopolitics. So every day we are getting conflicting statements. One day we'll be getting, today morning we got the report that a summit between the presidents of the Russia and US will be taken place very soon. But just now Russia has denied such as nothing has decided, no concrete plan decided. So just now I received the report that the global market, equity market came down because of the Kremlin's, Russia's statement that no concrete plan has been decided. That means we are getting conflicting statement every day from both sides. That means these uncertainties and risks arising from the Russia-Ukraine conflict is likely to dominate the sentiment in the futures market. That means the speculative investors will be less active. They'll be adopting a cautious strategy in investment decision. That means we can expect physical market favorable conditions not fully reflected in the futures market. So likewise, in the previous week, we are expecting physical market going well, continuing the uptrend. At the same time, futures market need not reflect the favorable condition. So at the same time, I would like to add that latest market is expected to perform better related to TSR RSS because latest processing companies are expected to offer a premium price for the fresh latex. So latest price is going to is likely to perform relatively better compared to TSR. That's all about the market review and outlook for the this week. Thank you very much, and see you again next week at the same time. Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of the natural rubber market review. Thank you, Mr. Jim Jacob. So I'm happy to inform you that Mr. Nitish Shukla is back, okay, and he'll be continuing his presentation. May I ask him to share his screen and continue the presentation where he's stopped.
Thank you, Mr. Peram, and my sincere apology for this unexpected technical glitch. So we were at this point. What are the challenges do we expect from these upcoming regulations on the rating program or the mandatory evaluation of the tires on those three properties? So first one is the data generation for wet grip and the pass by invoice, considering the India specific limit, consistency and the correlation of test results. I would like to inform you all that these two tests, wet grip and pass by noise, are performed on highly sophisticated test equipment and under a very controlled environmental condition. And since such regulations have first time got imposed in the country, so the test agencies, they are also getting the expertise developed. Of course, in the beginning, we had the great challenges, but with the time, the challenges is getting reduced to a satisfactory extent. And we are looking forward that in the next 6 months' time, the Indian test agencies, minimum 3 test agencies, are likely to have the adequate test infrastructure for getting the tire tested on these 3 properties. Of course, for the wet grip and the pass by noise, since the test tracks are required, and the methods applicable are the skid trailer and the vehicle methods, and the test track availability is there with the 3 agencies, all the are the government agencies, and but the required environmental conditions, as we know that geographically we don't have the same environmental condition throughout here in our country, so that's why the capacity is also a challenge for the test agency to get the tire evaluated and tested as per AIS 142. Impact on the tire industry for these 3 properties: rolling resistance, wet grip, and the sound emission. I had explained, of course, we got missed it out. I'm just taking you that This is the magic triangle, having mainly the three properties: the rolling resistance, wear resistance, and the wet grip. And all the research and development activities as on date, looking at these existing and upcoming regulations on the tire performance based properties, is being done, that how we can enhance this area of this magic triangle. As for the RR and the wet grip, the properties are opposite to each other. If you keep on improving the rolling distance, you are going to compromise on the wet grip, which is nothing but the break resistance properties. So the tire industry has to have a balance on that. Of course, the raw materials are going to play a key role in having the balance or enhancing this magic triangle for a tire performance. This role of raw materials in achieving these performance-based properties, and what we do expect from the tires has to have a low rolling resistance value. Tire weight should also be lower. The OEMs, they have also now playing a key role and demanding some specific requirement to meet up. And of course, like the low rolling resistance, better fuel economy, good braking resistance, these are the key requirements already set down by the OEMs, and the tire industry is working to meet some specific requirement of the OEMs. Durability, of course, is one of the key requirement to get a tire driven on a very rough road the condition in some part of our country where we have the patch hole, and there the tire has to meet the safety as well as this performance based requirement. In the raw material segment, the latest development by the Indian agencies, so Department of Chemical and Petrochemical under the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer, the testing and certification on the some raw rubber, already the Indian standards are being formulated. So one Indian standard which very extensively the panel is working on, the polybutadiene rubber. Looking at the import figure, the DGFT, and under the directive of the Niti Aayog, the panel has started working out on that. Of course, the suggestions and the comments from all the stakeholders, the tire industry and non-tire industry is being considered. Similarly, for the black also, and the latest development, since we have also started the discussing about the circular economy, so a standard is also being formulated on the recycled rubber vulcanized crumb particulate. So these three, I would say that the raw materials for which the Indian standards are being formulated for the mandatory testing and certification, which is likely to come sooner or later by the government body. This is a summary on those regulatory challenges faced by the Indian tire industry. I started with, this is the summary, I started with AIS 142. As I told that the existing draft notification, the deadline was 1st October 2021 for new designs of tire, and 1st October 2022 for the existing designs of the tire. Based on the receipts, input, comments, suggestion, objections from the various stakeholders, Department, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways is reworking on the notification. The final notification is still awaited. Star rating program, as I explained, for the voluntary period for a 1 year has got notified, implemented by from 14 December 2021. Of course, the official communication and notification from Bureau of Energy Efficiency is awaited. The T-type temporary use spare tire, we had one safety-based standard IS 15633 that for the passenger car has come into the force from February 2021, and now T-type temporary use spare tire to be used for the fitted vehicle or for the replacement are being tested and certified by the existing safety-based standard. For vehicle wheel rims, the quality control order has been issued, and the effective date was previously 1st April 2021, got extended. Now the effective date will be 1st April 2022 as one of the important safety component. regarding the axle load, which was notified by the Ministry of Road Transport Highways in July 2018. And the TPMS, as we all understand, a very key requirement, the tire temperature pressure monitoring system. So for M1 vehicle and the N1 category, manufactured after 1st October 2020 has got considered and notified by the MRTH. Needless to say, the upcoming regulatory requirements demands technology upgradation, adequate test infrastructure, and the availability of the consistent and the quality raw materials. So these three key aspects which are going to decide the effective implementation of the these regulations, whatever we had talked about. Of course, regarding the technical upgradation, the tire industry, they had made a huge investment on their R&D, and they are working, and already the tires are being produced, meeting as per the international norms and the requirement. Test infrastructure part, Indian test agencies, they are also trying to establish meeting the requirements as per the global norms, and the raw materials, their quality, of course, is going to play the key role for meeting these regulatory challenges. Like the Europe and the other part of the world, Indian government also felt a need to introduce this circular economy for the tire and the rubber recycling industry in India. And in the view of the same, Government of India had constituted a committee under the chairmanship of the one additional secretary from Ministry of Environment, Forest and the Climate Challenge, and having the stakeholders from the Atma ITAC, the recycling, of course, the Central Pollution Control Board. And after the several rounds of the discussion and deliberations, we could arrive on a framework that to be implemented. Of course, in the beginning, we in Atma ITAC had suggested some business transaction model, but later on, the government was only keen that let the responsibility lies to the extended producer responsibility, that is for the tire company and the other stakeholders like tire importers and the recyclers. So a draft gazette notification was got issued by Ministry of Environment, Forest and the Climate Change on 31st December 2021, and they had also requested all the stakeholders to submit their comments, suggestions and objections on this draft notification, and the period for submission of this comment remark is the 2-month time. So by end of February, all the stakeholders are submitting their remarks comment on this. The draft notification, in the draft notification, the proposed date of enforcement is the financial year 2022 and 23, and the key stakeholders which are party to that EPR regime given in the draft notification is the tire manufacturers, tire importers and the recyclers. And the key the framework which has been addressed in the issued draft notification is that EPR certificate need to be purchased by the tire producer or the tire manufacturers from the authorized recyclers. So all the I would say that the government has tried that let this in the existing ecosystem of our country, let this recycling unit to be more organized. So we in Atma ITAC had also welcomed and felt that very important and the much needed move has been taken by the government of India, that this most one of the unorganized sector to be converted into an organized sector. For that, that each recyclers in the country, they need to be registered under the CPCB portal, online portal, that is the Central Pollution Control Board under the same ministry, and the EPR certificate is likely to be bought by the tire industry from those authorized recyclers, and EPR obligation has been given, and that need to be met by the tire industry in a period of 4 years time. Of course, considering that some allowance is given, considering the wear and the tear life in all the segment of the tire. CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, is working on preparing a detailed guideline and the policy for this EPR for the West Tire, and of course in consultation with all the stakeholders, including ATMA and ITTAC. And this EPR application, the percentage is given like for the first year, you have to meet the 35% of that bought EPR certificate, then second year 50, 70, and the last year. We had also reviewed thoroughly this draft notification. We have submitted our response to the department for their the consideration. So this is all about on this recent trends in the standard and regulation, which I thought to present before all of you. Thank you so much. And if any questions, we are very much, I'm here to take any question. Thank you so much for this given opportunity, Mr. Peram. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitish. Thank you for making it back again after a little interruption, but it's went well smoothly afterwards. Okay, thank you very much. For the benefit of the audience, I'd like to touch a few things. Okay, first is that, you know, ITAC or ATMA has a documented training or manual. Can you talk about, you know, how to source that manual? What is there? I think some of the audience would be interested to know about the publication by the ATMA. Yeah, please.
Yes, Mr. Peram, one of the key activities which is done at ITTAC is the preparation of this standard manual. So every once in a 2 year, we try to develop its kind of the manual, and which talks about the complete requirements in case if any new entrepreneurs they jumped roping into the manufacturing of the tire, irrespective of the two-wheeler, passenger car, light commercial, and the commercial vehicle. So this ITAC manual of I think 250 pages that gives the complete guideline on the requirement. For example, the different tire sizes and the wheel requirements, what should be the tire dimension requirement, of course in the inflated state, in the service state. So this manual, of course, only the hard copy being the proprietary issue, we don't issue the soft copy, but any member who wish to access our ITAC manual, they have to write to ITTAC at our given email IDs, or they can directly write to me, and based on their request, this ITAC manual. But I would say that it's a Bible for the tire industry, and of course anyone who is already in this fraternity or wish to they can and can have this our ITAC manual.
That's
and
right,
one second activities, Mr. Peram, which we very actively, which is I could not address, but for the benefit of the delegates, I can tell that the tire care and the safety drive program, and of course Ministry of Road Transport Highways, they have one division road safety cell, and we have been since last, I would say that 1 decade, ATMA ITAC have been playing a key role and have been conducting a lot of the programs under the tire care and the safety drive program. If any member is interested, we have done a very good survey while conducting the program at the different outlet of the Indian Oil Corporation, some the educational institutes, some IT firms, by just going and inspecting the tires on the different parameters, at least on the tire pressure, as we know that the tire pressure plays a key role, irrespective of the make, brand, but the users have to also pay key attention while maintaining the tire. So these the second activities, apart from that, our manual, and we also have the guide for the passenger car, light commercial vehicle, and agri tire. The complete analysis guide for any failure analysis, they need to know our other properties. So for the 3 cases we have, and for the 2 3-wheelers, I think in the next 6 months time, we are going to have the tire conditional analysis guide as well. Thank you.
Oh, super. Nitish, I would like to invite you again and again to update us in various things about the tire regulations and standards. I thank you very much for joining the session today. Appreciate your contribution. I talk to you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Peram. Thank you for this given opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we are into the session called Rubber Industry Business Talk. This session is a new session, part of the Rubber Industry NewsHour, and the objective is to, through this session, we'd like to get to know more about a country or a company and their practices happening in that respective country or respecting company. Today, we have a guest from Bangladesh. He's a part of this Rubber Industry Business Talk, and he'll be talking about, we explore information about the Bangladesh rubber and tire industry. Our guest is Mr. Niraj Rahman. He's the managing director of the Rupsha Tires and Chemicals Limited from Bangladesh. So let's welcome Mr. Niraj Rahman. Mr. Niraj, please come on board.
Hello.
Hi there. Welcome to the session.
Thank you.
Feeling good?
Yeah, very good.
As you know, I was trying to introduce this program about giving the overview about Bangladesh and also your company, how things are there in Bangladesh in the rubber industry itself. Okay, so let's jump into the subject. Okay, thank you very much for accepting my invitation and being part of this session today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here to represent Bangladesh. I think I may be the first one to represent
All right.
Bangladesh. Yeah, so it's a proud moment. Thanks for inviting.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. I appreciate. Okay, let's, for the benefit of the whole audience and also for people understand about your company, Rupsha Tires and Chemicals. Can you share the background of it? You know, when it started, what kind of products being produced?
Yeah, let me go back to 1972. My father started this company. It was basically a Hawaii Chapel company, rubber slippers company back at that time. Then in 1991, we moved to bicycle tire and rickshaw tires business and tubes. So he started the business that time, and now we are producing bicycle tires, motorcycle tires, three-wheelers, LCV tires, and tubes in Bangladesh. So our market is mainly domestic based. We are also exporting to Europe our bicycle tires.
And you produce only for your own brand. What is the brand name of your company in terms of tires?
Yeah, its name is Rupsha. Rupsha is our brand. It is named after a river in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a land of rivers, you know. Yeah.
Yes. Rupsha is a river name. That's nice.
Yeah.
And so you take over the business from your father. So now you are leading the kind of taking care of the business now. So what changes you are doing in terms of the running the business?
Yeah, I joined my father in 1996. At that time, I was also a student, but I still joined the business because from my early childhood, I saw rubber, and rubber became a part of me. So I wanted to join very quick, and I joined in my student life. And when my father started this business in 1991, this tire business, he had so many obstacles because the infrastructural facilities were not there. The gas connection, the electricity connection, and the technological know-how was not that much available. And my father is not a chemist, but he still learned chemistry, and he is known one of the best chemists in this world. In this country for tire tubes and rubber sleepers. So he made the product really good, and it was liked by our customer. Then I joined. When I joined, I saw that raw materials price was going up, so I had to bring it down. I mean, the costing had to be brought down, and also the foreign tires, they were still dominating in the market. The good quality tires from China, India, Malaysia. So I had the challenge to make the tires as per their standards. So we tried our best, given the obstacles in Bangladesh, because we don't have the support industries and the technical supports. But I went to India, China, Taiwan, and tried to bring the best technologies possible. And gradually, Bangladesh became self-sufficient in the bicycle tire, rickshaw tire, motorcycle tire. And now we can proudly say that we can compete with world-class standard tires of bicycle and motorcycle. And let me must tell you that my father is still guiding me. He is there. So without his support, I would not have been able to come this what I have achieved. Yeah.
Okay, so your father is still active in
Yes,
the
very much
business.
active.
Yeah.
He wants to open 2 more industries. Still, he is in
Okay.
78. He is more active than me.
Super, super. I think so. You must be jealous about it, that energy levels. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could be like him.
That's nice. That's nice. And so I know, but one question for me is in your company name,
Yeah,
Rupsha Tires and Chemicals. Where is
yeah.
this chemical? I didn't see in your product range. There is no chemicals per se. Why do you guys use that chemicals as well? Any
Yeah,
reason for it?
when my father started, he had a vision to also do some chemical manufacturing business, but later he could not do it because given the obstacles in our country, Bangladesh being a less developed country, but still we have that plan with us.
Okay, so there's you get more products in the line also in the future, right?
Right.
So as MD of the, this Rupsham, and of course, even your father is behind you or leading you, guiding you, but I think the title is yours. So I think what is your vision for the company? And how you see
My
in the next 10 years, or what's going to be? Yeah.
Yeah, my vision is to make world-class rubber products from Bangladesh, which will give value uh, to our customer of their money. Because you know what's happening, Bangladesh is good at tire industries, but the non-tire rubber industries, Bangladesh is, I think, in a very early stage. The products are not good, and say when I drive my car, I see the wipers, I see the engine mounting, the bushes, and the EPDM as the window seals. These are very inferior quality, which are replacement, comes from abroad. The good quality products are not uh, imported, and because of the stiff competition, the higher good quality products are not imported. So I think our consumers are deprived from using my window wiper. It lasts for 2 months. Sometimes it damages my glass. So why would it happen? The conveyor belt industry, the V belt industries, customers are not getting the world class products. So I have a vision. If I can also expand our business, so our Bangladesh customers will be able to get the world class products, and they deserve it. Yeah.
So you will be expanding or diversifying not only the tire side but also into the non-tire and automotive components as well. That would be nice. So
Yes.
I look forward to seeing more success in that direction. That's good for the country. Yeah. Yeah. So and you at this moment you're producing only the motorcycle or rickshaws and tires. Are you planning to go into the PCR? Into the radial in the
Oh,
future? What's it like?
uh, I'm not planning because the PCR needs a lots of technological support. The country has need to have some support industries. The polymer graduates needs to be there. So Bangladesh is not at that stage that you can get those kind of support from the current infrastructure of Bangladesh. So this is not the right moment.
Are there any actual international players, manufacturing facilities in Bangladesh, or all of the tire companies are local companies only? What's like the structure of the
All
tire
the tire
industry?
companies are local companies. There is no international player here. Seat of India, 7 years back, they announced that they will open a factory in Bangladesh. It would be the largest investment in terms of manufacturing in Bangladesh. But somehow, I don't know, that did not come into being, and that project is postponed.
Mhm. So all the tires are imported into the country, the PCR,
Yes, PCR and truck bus radial
particularly.
tires, and yeah.
Okay. I think so. There's a huge potential there, and somebody want to establish a company in Bangladesh.
Yes, already there is a company. They have started a radial bus and passenger radial tires. That's
Mhm.
name is Jomuna Group. They will be in the market in next 6 months. They are still in the research and development stage, and trial experiment is going on. So they will come to the market, and given the size of the market, they also need to export to get the return from the investment. So they are going to that direction. They have got their technical support from China Equipment
Okay.
Corporation, the biggest one. So
Hmm.
we are looking forward to that.
So these mostly the tires, imported tires come from which country to the Bangladesh? India,
Uh,
China, or yeah, or
mainly in
any?
mainly India and then China. I
Okay,
think
what are
India has taken the 80% of the market.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah. And what are the duties like? Any you have information on what are the import duties to the country?
Yeah, for the bus and truck tires, the duty is very less because our prime minister thinks bus is ridden by the poor people. So the tire needs to be less priced, and for the truck also, because commercial goods are carried, so the price has to be down. So for bus truck tire, it is 10%, but
Hmm.
for the other tires it is 25%.
Hmm. And is these policies for the investing into the country is of kind of friendly policies? The government realize that rubber industry one of the key industry for the growth of economy. What is like the current situation in
Uh,
Bangladesh?
not really, because Bangladesh is very good at ready-made garments industry. It
Yeah.
is the second biggest in the world. So everything in Bangladesh is based on ready-made garments. So all the priorities, all the attention is, obtained by the ready-made garments industry. All other industries are not given that much attention. And I think Bangladesh government is yet to understand the potential of rubber business in Bangladesh, but they are trying, and it will take some time.
And I think you have a Bangladesh rubber board, like Malaysia rubber board, like Indian rubber board, and so you also have a Bangladesh rubber board. What is the function of it? Are there more towards the plantation or into the industry? It's a balanced. What is like?
Uh, I regret to say that this rubber board is kind of non-functional. It is made, I think, for the sake of making. Somebody maybe told the government you need a rubber board, but it has not really come into operation or doing anything significant. So I think what it needs, this rubber board probably needs help from India, China, the developed countries to grow. Given our resources, our infrastructure, as this rubber board is facing difficulty uh, to go forward.
I think probably it's established recently. I think every organization to
Yeah,
evolve, it takes some time. The
right,
functioning of it. Understand. Did you guys have an
right.
association for the rubber and tire industries in Bangladesh?
Yes, we have association for rubber industries association is one association, and there is another tire industries association.
Okay, and they're active in supporting, reaching out to the government.
Yeah, we try our best because we face lots of bureaucratic problem, like part of the being a member of the third world. So we have to closely work with the government, and the bright side is government is now understanding a lot of things which they did not used to understand. So if we can present our case to them with good figures, numbers, statistics, and logic, they tend to listen. Take some time, but they tend to listen.
You are the tire side. What kind of structure? Can you give us some glimpse of the whole structure of the rubber industry? And what are the main industries other than tires? So I think tires is more on the motorcycles and rickshaw tires. Okay, we're
Yes.
talking on manufacturing side. Can you talk about more information on that?
Yeah. Bangladesh started this rubber industry with Hawaii sleepers, but last 15 years, Hawaii chappal, Hawaii sleepers market is taken by EVA and plastic. So the rubber business is almost gone. Our rubber business is not there with the Hawaii chappal because EVA is less costly and looks attractive. So that industry is almost gone. So now we have tire industry. I told you there are 8 players in the country, and we are kind of doing good, and we are exporting to Europe. And Meghna tire is another tire factory in Bangladesh. They are exporting very in high volume in Europe. They are bicycle tires, and our motorcycle tires, LCV tires, can compete with the foreign good tires, and our market is share is much more than those for foreign companies. But about the non-tire sector rubber industries, is still in the infancy, I think. There are small cottage type industries. They make, say, V-belt, hose pipe, O-rings, conveyor belt, and retreading. But these are very small type industries, and their quality is very not at par. So that is the picture of. So I see a lot of potential in Bangladesh, because there are so many industries, and Bangladesh economy is also doing good. So there will be huge demand for these products.
And how about the testing? When you talk about, you talk about quality issues, do you have the, authorized or certified laboratories to certify your tire? Even let's look at your tires. Where do you certify your tires? You have a certified laboratory in the country? Yeah.
No, unfortunately, no. If we want to test tires, we send to Indian Rubber Manufacturer Research Association or HASETRI or in China. So, and we also have our limited testing facilities, laboratories, but there is no such laboratories in Bangladesh.
So it is going to be a lot of cost involved, sending to the
Right.
overseas and get tested. Yeah, that's a real
Right.
challenge. So, then how about your company? Do you have your own R&D lab, or how do you, you have to develop compounds? And do you have innovation at your own company? What's like?
Yes, of course, we have a R&D lab. We have abrasion testing machine, tensor testing machine, ozone testing machine, tire endurance testing machine. Most of the machines needed for a tire factory, we have that, and we need to have that because we don't have any support laboratories in Bangladesh. So most of the tire factories have their own facility.
I see. And you talk about it, supporting industry in Bangladesh. Do you have like a polymer technology education or any specific field or rubber technology? Anything there? The universities offering there?
Yes, in two universities they teach polymer technology or chemical engineering, but what happens, they don't have any laboratory for rubber testing. They don't have mixing mills. They don't have abrasion tester, almost nothing. And they never visit also the factories. So there is no exchange of knowledge between the factories and the education institutions. So this is happening. I think it will take some time for these universities to offer products for the tire industry, rubber industries.
Maybe you have an association, you come up with your own programs together. Okay, TechnoBiz is happy to associate with you guys to empowering, because we have a lot of resources. Okay, so
yeah, of course.
And how about at automotive companies? Are there any assemblies happening in like a Toyota or any big boys are there?
Actually, Bangladesh is not in that stage to manufacture automobiles. So government is emphasizing, but I don't think it will be a good strategy. Bangladesh can maximum go for light engineering right now, given our infrastructure or education. So there are some motorcycle tire industry by foreign players like Hero Honda, and in Bangladesh there are 2-3 players, but they are basically doing assembly kind of
Yeah.
things. Value addition is very less, but it will go up.
Okay. How about the plantation side? I think that recently people are talking about, and Bangladesh is also exporting the natural rubber. And, where do you buy your natural rubber? You get all from locally, or? Yeah?
It's an interesting story. We buy our natural rubber from Vietnam because the price is cheaper there, and all the natural rubbers from Bangladesh goes to India. Why? Because natural rubber import duty in Bangladesh is 5%.
Okay.
So we can always buy from, compare Vietnam, the price is little cheaper, we can buy from there. But India, natural rubber import duty is 30%. So Indian natural rubber price is always higher. But if they import from Bangladesh, India has given a special facility to Bangladesh, it will be zero duty. So
Oh,
India can import natural rubber from Bangladesh with zero duty. So they take all rubbers from Bangladesh, and we buy even cheaper rubber in Vietnam. So that is the case.
so that's interesting model. Huh?
Yeah.
Import from
Yeah.
Vietnam and to the Bangladesh and exporting to India. Is it? Eh?
Right.
Okay. So, but you also have a local. Do you buy? How is the
No.
quality of the Bangladesh? Yeah.
Okay. I need to clarify. We have our own rubber plantation. We
Right.
produce about 20,000 tons per year. These rubbers go to India, not the Vietnamese rubber. Vietnamese rubber is used by us, and our rubber goes to India,
Oh,
because
okay.
because India has given zero duty for Bangladesh rubbers.
Okay.
Any product of Bangladesh, because being a trusted partner and good partner, so India offered this facility to Bangladesh. And Bangladesh's natural rubber industry is not very good in terms of technology, because we produce 20,000 tons per year, but it has the potential to go up to 1 lakh ton per year, 100,000 tons per year. And our yield, one natural rubber tree can produce 80 kgs of rubber per year in Bangladesh, but in India it is 240 kgs. In Malaysia it is so 3 times the output is higher. And also the time taken to grow a rubber tree, it is 7 to 8 years in Bangladesh, but India with the help of rubber board and Malaysia, Thailand, they can get rubber within 3 to 4 years. So this kind of development is needed in Bangladesh. Bangladesh has very strong tea board. Bangladesh has rice research bureau. These are very strong. If this rubber board becomes strong like Indian rubber board and Malaysian rubber board, Bangladesh can also make very good quality rubber.
I mean, you can see the scope there, the scope of improvement, and so because, as you know, people are there, they need rubber products, so potential is there, yeah. So,
Right.
yeah. And do you have any plantation of yours? A lot of tire companies
No.
are investing into getting into the tire plant, rubber plantations also. Do you?
The biggest player in Bangladesh is Gaji Tires. They also make
Okay.
truck, bus, bias tire. They have their own plantation, but I am stuck with my own problems and so many industrial problems. So I really don't want to go into another chapter. And
Okay.
it's in the remote hills.
Okay, I see. Understood. So, not in the plan, not that soon.
No.
Let's get
No.
over the problems first. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And the whole world is talking about EVs, electric vehicles. People are concerned or talking about electric vehicles in Bangladesh?
Not
You
only
have
talking.
sufficient. Yeah.
Yeah. In Bangladesh, what has happened? The three-wheeler commercial vehicles, which carries 3 to 5 passengers, this is all entirely taken by electric vehicles, battery operated vehicles. And we have the manual rickshaws in Bangladesh, three-wheelers, manual rickshaws. These are all now converted to battery operated. But for the motorcycle, it is not still there, because someone has to produce it in Bangladesh, because import tax is very high for motorcycles. So nobody is producing these electric motorcycles, and the automobiles also not that popular yet. So it will be popular, I think.
And when it comes to the cars, okay, which cars are popular in Bangladesh? Okay, forget about these branded rich ones. Okay, you're talking about the general people use. What kind of cars people use?
What happens in Bangladesh? Most cars are reconditioned cars of Japan. So
Okay.
Toyota is a household name. Everyone, some people do not say car, they say Toyota. So everywhere you come in Bangladesh, you will see Toyota cars.
Okay. Are there any cars from India? Indian cars coming there? Tata or any other?
India is Maruti is coming. Yeah,
Okay.
but they have taken the truck market totally, Indian tire manufacturers, but not the car markets. It is dominated by Japan, the reconditioned Japanese cars.
Interesting. How about the the foreign investment, government is supporting the foreigners to come and invest. Is it a friendly policies or a lot of struggle to go through? What's like?
Government is giving lots of opportunity for foreign investment, income tax facility, and export processing zones. There are so many facilities, but when it comes into implementation, there are bureaucratic problems in Bangladesh, like the third world countries face. That is there. It takes a lot of time to get the license, to get a permission. Yeah, that's still there in Bangladesh.
Mhm. And about the labor costs, is it getting significant? Always people say that cheap labor is cheap, and when you talk about third world or developing countries, what is it increasing trend or what's like in the labor
Yeah,
cost?
it's increasing every year, but still I think it's very low compared to rest of the world. Say for a non-skilled labor, one needs to pay $100 per month, and for skilled labor it will be $200 to $300 per month. I think it is cheaper.
Mhm. And how you manage your team? Yeah, we call it talent management, right? The word of talent management, keeping the people who work for you long time, and probably the good people. What situation like retaining the people for working for you long time?
I want to make them feel that they are working for a company. So someone comes to me and tell me that, sir, I don't want to do this job because that person is creating trouble. He is not listening to me. I say, you have problem in your own family. I have problem with my children. I have problem with my wife. Do I leave them? I don't. I solve the problem. So it's your
So,
family. You solve the problem. That's why I tell them every time.
okay, very simple and
Yeah,
straightforward. Yeah,
yeah.
that's nice. That's nice. Miraj, it's very nice. Actually, you give us a very transparent opinion on what's happening in the Bangladesh. Finally, how is your economy in Bangladesh economy now?
I'm very proud to say that when I was young, uh, say 20 years back, 25 years back, people used to die of hunger. So we have totally come out of that stage. Bangladesh economy is doing very, very, very good. We have our natural gas. We have adequate electricity. Now we have two ports. One is Chattogram port, another is Mongla port. So everything is there. It is one country, one language. So the homogeneity is there, the political stability is there, and the workers are very hard workers, and we have also talent. And our economy is doing very, very good. We get about $2 billion of foreign remittance every month from the workers who are working in Kuwait, Malaysia, Middle Eastern countries mainly. They send all their earnings to Bangladesh. So it is helping Bangladesh economy a lot. Our foreign exchange reserve is $42 billion now. So it's a very good given the size of our economy. And we have given loan to Sri Lanka. They are having problem with their
yeah,
foreign exchange. Yes, we have given, and many other developing countries. So Bangladesh per capita income has gone really high. Bangladesh in this year, last year, Bangladesh from a less developed country, Bangladesh moved to uh, mid-income countries. So it's a significant achievement. So there will be lots of opportunities in Bangladesh. So I urge, so many people are watching this show, so they should really come to Bangladesh and see it in their eyes. What wonderful job we are doing. Yeah.
that's super. That's good to know, and thank you very much, Miraj, in giving me insight onto the Bangladesh and also the rubber industry. Are you welcome to anybody want to partner with you to do maybe to help you with the non-tire segment? We are open the
Sure,
doors for the cooperation. Yeah.
of course. Even if they don't want to make me partner, no problem. They want to come to Bangladesh and uh, take our carry forward our industry forward. I am always ready to help them. Yeah.
Super. Okay. Miraj, thanks again once again to joining this session. That's very interesting and pleased to know about the developments happening. Okay, I wish you the best and continue your journey, and make sure your vision comes true soon, and make your father also, now is 78, up to 99, okay, or 100.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
live in, with so much energy, and push the Ruksha company forward to the major milestones in the future. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the session on the rubber industry business talk with Mr. Miraj Rahman. I'm hoping that you find it interesting to learn about the Bangladesh rubber and tire industry. So we're almost end of the session. Okay, just give you the rubber industry education session, which is basically I'm like to introduce to you. Some of you may know about it already. This is a program which we offer by TechnoBiz. It's executive diploma program. This is focusing for the non-tire industry, rubber industry, technology and management. I request you all of you to watch this video. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Hey, that's about the program, our executive diploma program on the rubber industry, technology and management. As I mentioned, this is a 360-degree focus in the sense both technical aspects as well as the management aspects being covered in this program. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Okay, for this whole rubber industry news server, it is available in our YouTube channel. So please reach out to the TechnoBiz channel and you can watch whole program in our YouTube if you want to view it again. And that's the end of this session. And if you have any questions, if you want any assistance, you know how to contact me. I'm hoping that you find it useful, and I see you next week. Thank you all. Bye bye for now.